You know that feeling, right? When everything just feels, I don't know, unbearably heavy, you wake up and it's like the weight of the day just crashes down before your feet even hit the floor.
Yeah.
And things that used to ignite something in you maybe now just feel meaningless.
It's like the color drains out.
Exactly. There's this quiet despair, a kind of numbness, like you've sort of given up expecting anything to truly get better. If you listening have ever felt this way, you're absolutely not alone, and you are definitely not broken.
It's a really profound human experience, isn't it? This quiet desperation. And what's truly astonishing, and something the sources really highlight, is that it's not just a modern thing.
Yep.
Here's a surprising fact from the material we looked at. Even someone you'd imagine was completely beyond such struggles, maybe the most powerful man on earth at the time, Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor, he grappled with these exact feelings.
Wow. Despite having, like, unimaginable power. Commanding legions, the whole empire.
The whole thing, yeah. He was deeply familiar with grief and loneliness, existential quite.
That really reframes how we think about power and suffering. I mean, the sources, they reveal he lost children.
Several children, yeah.
He led during devastating wars and plague. He faced betrayal, just immense personal pressure.
Immense. Yet he didn't collapse. He didn't just give in. Instead, he turned inward.
Not to escape, though, right?
Well,
like, pay for himself.
Precisely. He wrote these private reflections, which, later became the meditations.
Okay.
And these weren't intended for anyone else to read. They weren't meant to impress. They were, as our source material really emphasizes, like survival notes.
Survival notes. I like that.
Yeah, reminders to stay grounded, to endure, to keep moving with purpose, even when everything felt utterly meaningless. His resilience wasn't about, like, blind optimism or pretending things were fine.
No.
It was forged in something much deeper, philosophy.
And specifically, Stoicism, which what's so powerful about it, I think, is that it was a philosophy forged by people who had really seen the absolute worst life could throw at you,
Absolutely. People who had faced incredible hardship.
Yet they still held this, like, unshakable belief in the human spirit's power to rise above it all.
And its core teaching, it sounds simple, but it holds these really radical implications. While we can't control what happens to us.
Which is a lot.
A huge amount, yeah. We can always control how we respond. Peace comes not from fixing everything out there, but from, mastering your internal self.
So it's less about getting rid of the pain altogether.
Which is often impossible.
Right. And more about learning to carry it with maybe dignity.
Exactly. Dignity. It doesn't promise a life without suffering. Nobody can promise that. But it offers a framework, a way to give suffering shape, making it something you can actually live with, maybe even grow from.
It's about making a conscious choice then, like strength over despair.
Strength over despair, clarity over chaos, action over feeling helpless.
Yeah. So this deep dive, it isn't just, a history lesson about ancient Rome.
Not at all.
It's about discovering how Marcus Aurelius' words, written 2,000 years ago, offer incredibly clear, direct instructions for facing the modern storms we all encounter. Burnout, fear, emptiness, maybe even depression.
Yeah, they're surprisingly relevant.
So our mission today is really to uncover how these ancient insights can help you, listening right now, become more resilient, more centered and clearer in your own life. And just for context, all of this is drawn from excerpts of the YouTube video, Marcus Aurelius' advice for people who hate their life, from the Success Chasers channel.
A great start.
All right, let's unpack this first powerful idea, understanding and accepting reality. The source material, it highlights this really peculiar truth about suffering. We often bring it on ourselves, don't we? Not because of what happens, but because of how we fight what happens.
Resistance, yeah.
We replay events over and over. We argue with what is. We keep asking, why me? And these thoughts, they might feel completely justified in the moment.
They often do feel justified.
But they ironically just extend the pain, don't they?
They absolutely do. And what's truly fascinating here, maybe even a bit counterintuitive, is this profound statement from Marcus Aurelius. Reject your sense of injury and the injury itself disappears.
Okay, that sounds intense. Does he mean just ignore pain, become numb?
No, not at all. He wasn't advocating for numbness or ignoring legitimate pain. He was clarifying that so much of our rage, our bitterness, our resentment, it doesn't actually stem from the event itself,
right,
but from our interpretation of it. It's the meaning we attach, the story we tell ourselves.
Okay. So it's not just that you lost your job, for example. It's that you decided this loss means you're worthless.
Exactly. Or it's not just that you faced rejection. It's that you concluded, okay, I'm unlovable. The external event, the injury, yeah, that's real. But the suffering gets magnified, sometimes exponentially, because we refuse to let go of the story we're telling ourselves about it.
We suffer because we're demanding reality be different from what it actually is.
Precisely. And that demand is just never, ever satisfied.
No, it's exhausting.
It's completely exhausting. When something unwelcome happens, we tense up, we mentally push back, we resist the fact. But facts are, well, they're stubborn things.
They don't really care if we like them or not.
Not one bit. No amount of wishing or denial will change what is. So the Stoic path to healing, it really begins when we stop demanding that reality conform to our personal script.
Okay, but that doesn't mean giving up, right? Or becoming passive.
Absolutely not. It's actually the opposite. It's about facing what's right in front of you without flinching. Peace emerges when you stop clinging so tightly to how you think things should be. And you start responding consciously to things as they are.
Okay, so what does this look like for you? Listen, the core Stoic practice, really the heart of it, seems to be this rigorous separation.
Separation of what?
Between what you can control and what you absolutely can't.
The famous dichotomy of control.
If you can control it, you act, you do some. If you can't, you genuinely work on letting it go. Because, as the source material suggests, holding on to things outside your control is actually, it's making you sick.
It's draining your energy, your peace.
So maybe right now you could ask yourself, what am I resisting in my life? What fact am I refusing to accept? Is it a loss? Maybe a failure, a betrayal, some injustice, or maybe just a difficult truth about yourself?
Yeah, get really honest. Write it down, maybe.
Be brutally honest.
Yeah.
Then the crucial second question, can I control this? Can I actually change it, fix it, or meaningfully influence it?
And this requires real honesty, too.
It does. If the answer is yes, okay, then take one small, concrete action. Not a fantasy, not just wishing, but an actual tangible step forward.
Just one step.
But if the answer is no, if it's something that already happened or it's fundamentally outside your sphere of influence, then the work is different. It's to stop giving it energy.
Stop reliving it in your head.
Stop feeding it with your precious attention. Allow it to be what it is. Just let it be.
It sounds so simple, but that letting go is incredibly hard work.
Oh, absolutely. But this radical simplicity is precisely why Stoicism has endured for centuries, isn't it? It just strips away all the noise and tells you, focus solely on what is truly yours to manage, your thoughts, your actions, and kind of let the rest burn, as the sources imply.
That's a powerful image. And Marcus himself, he practiced this relentlessly. He would write to himself, raw and unfiltered about what was hurting him.
Like journaling.
Exactly like journaling. Then he'd respond, almost like coaching himself from a wiser, calmer perspective. His meditations, they're essentially these anchor points he created for himself. And you can absolutely adopt a similar practice.
That point about acceptance, though, it's key, isn't it? Because it's often misunderstood.
It's hugely misunderstood.
It's easy to think accepting something means weakness, like you're giving up the fight.
Right, like resignation. But the Stoics teach the opposite. Acceptance is actually a profound form of power.
How so?
Because it means you are no longer at war with what already exists. You end that internal battle. And when that war ends, you suddenly free up this immense amount of energy.
Energy you were spending resisting.
Exactly. Energy you can then direct towards building, towards growing, towards genuine healing. Resisting reality just drains you mentally and emotionally. Accepting it, paradoxically, liberates you.
It doesn't mean the pain vanishes or life suddenly feels amazing.
No, not necessarily.
But it means the struggle itself becomes clearer, maybe more honest, and ultimately more productive, instead of just flailing around in frustration.
You gain focus. You stop wasting time fighting shadows, and you start actually walking a path forward, dealing with reality as it is.
So maybe the question for you listening is, what are you resisting? What truth are you maybe afraid to face? What would genuinely happen if you simply allowed it to be true? Not necessarily agreeing with it or even liking it, but just allowing it to exist as fact.
That allowance, according to Marcus, is where Stoicism truly begins. And it's where your healing can actually take root.
That profound shift in how we relate to reality, it naturally leads us to this next critical principle, redefining value.
Ah, yes, what truly matters.
You know that common trap in life where we spend years, maybe even decades, chasing things that, well, they never truly satisfy us.
The hamster wheel.
Yeah. The source material describes it perfectly. Climbing the ladder of success only to find it's leaning against the wrong wall, or accumulating wealth, accolades, compliments, and still feeling utterly empty.
And that emptiness isn't a flaw in you. It's a signal, isn't it? A profound signal that the things being chased cannot actually fill that hole.
Right.
And Marcus Aurelius, again, a man who possessed more power, prestige, material wealth than almost anyone in history, he understood this so deeply. It's why he wrote, "Very little is needed for a happy life, all within yourself."
Coming from him, the guy who had everything. It's incredibly powerful.
It's radical, isn't it? The insight that true happiness isn't just independent of external. It's often found precisely when they're absent, forcing us to confront what's actually inside, the wellspring of character within.
It's such a paradox. And it brings us straight to that fundamental Stoic distinction between internals and externals.
Okay, let's break that down.
Externals are things like, well, money, fame, social approval, looks, status, possessions, they're not inherently evil or bad.
No, they can be useful.
But they are fundamentally beyond your full control. They can be taken away, they fluctuate wildly, and you can do everything right and still not get them.
Right. Whereas internals are things like your character, your choices, your mindset, your integrity.
The stuff inside.
The stuff inside, these are always within your grasp, no matter what's happening around you. And according to the Stoics, these are the only things that truly ultimately matter.
So when you build your happiness on externals, you're building on, what, shifting sand?
Exactly. You're making your peace of mind utterly dependent on uncontrollable things. And that, the Stoics argue, is basically a direct guarantee for suffering down.
Think about it. If your self-worth depends on how many likes you get on social media.
Your mood is on a roller coaster controlled by strangers and algorithms.
Right. If your happiness depends on a certain income level, your peace is basically in the hands of the market or your boss or whatever.
If your identity is tied up in how attractive you are, then time itself becomes your greatest enemy. It's a losing battle.
These values don't anchor you. They actually sort of own you. And let's be honest, society actively encourages, doesn't it?
Oh, massively, from day one.
We're conditioned from a young age to measure our worth by external metrics, grades, trophies, income, how we look, prioritizing being liked over being honest, being rich over being kind, being impressive over just being, well, good.
All these shiny things, as Marcus knew, are ultimately fragile.
He knew that, even surrounded by luxury.
Indeed. Marcus, despite being surrounded by literally every imaginable luxury, spent his nights writing about discipline, humility, justice, self-restraint. He grasped that fundamental truth. The only real wealth is your character. Everything else is just
Wow. So to live this practically, for you listening, you need to consciously, consistently shift your focus inward.
And this isn't about being self-absorbed or navel.
No.
It's about being grounded and disciplined. Start measuring your life by your actions and your intentions, not just the outcomes, by your effort, not by the applause you get.
So ask yourself different questions at the end of the day.
Exactly. Ask, did I act with honesty today? Did I keep my promises? Did I show up even when it was hard? Did I hold on to my values even when no one was watching? These are the questions that define a Stoic.
And to truly make this shift, it requires some brutal honesty, doesn't it, about what you're actually valuing, right?
Yeah, look at your behavior, not just what you say. Where do you spend what makes you truly feel good or bad? If your mood rises and falls with your bank account balance,
then you're valuing money, like it or not.
Right, even if you don't want to admit it. This conditioning is common. We all have it to some degree, but admitting it is the first crucial step.
Okay, so you admit it, then what? How do you practice this shift?
Actively practice the Stoic shift. When you catch yourself getting upset, pause. Just take a beat and ask, am I upset because I've done something wrong, something within my control, or is it because something outside of me didn't go the way I wanted? If it's the latter, take a deep breath. Remind yourself, okay, this isn't mine to control. What is mine is how I choose to respond right now. This simple, repeated reorientation can fundamentally rewire your whole sense of value over time.
And a really effective way to reinforce this, the source suggests, is journaling those internal wins at the end.
Yeah, I like that. Not what you achieved.
No, but how you act. Did you stay calm in a situation that usually triggers anger? Did you choose the right thing when it would have been easier to lie or cut corners?
These are the quiet victories. They build genuine character.
They really do. And finally, actively surround yourself with reminders, because the modern world will constantly try to sell you fake values, won't it?
Constantly. Build a fortress of real value. Reread meditation. Maybe put Stoic quotes where you can see them. Create an environment that actually nourishes the self.
So this shift, it's challenge, sure, but the payoff seems huge. Stability, calmness,
an almost unshakable inner peace event. External things then truly become just bonuses, not foundations.
So a setback at work doesn't destroy you.
Nope. Or a personal rejection doesn't completely unravel your identity.
Because your worth, built on something deeper, something internal, was never actually dependent on those things anyway.
That's real freedom, true freedom.
Okay, moving from what we value, let's talk about mastering that inner world specifically. The incredible power of your thoughts. Because here's a critical truth. The source material emphasizes your thoughts. They are not always telling you the truth.
That's a big one.
In fact, the mind can be an extraordinarily powerful storyteller, right? And sometimes those stories, those narratives, while they feel totally compelling,
they feel completely real.
They bear little resemblance to objective reality. Your mind can convince you that you're worthless, that things will never get better, that no one cares about you.
And because these thoughts feel so real, we often believe them without question. But as Marcus understood, feelings are not fact. Just because something feels true doesn't automatically.
He wrote, The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thought. What does that really mean?
It means the quality of your inner life, your entire experience of the world, is profoundly shaped by the quality of your mind. If you constantly feed your mind with bitterness, fear, self-hate, your whole world gets filtered through that dark.
And this wasn't just like an abstract concept for Marcus, was it? He was speaking from his own deep struggle.
Oh, absolutely. He faced profound betrayal, widespread disease, constant war, unimaginable family tragedy, yet he consistently returned to his mind as the most important battlefield.
The most important battlefield.
Yeah. The outer world might crumble, he couldn't always control that, but his inner world, he understood, remained his ultimate responsibility. And that's what makes Stoicism so incredibly empowering. It gives you back control over your experience, even when you have absolutely no control over your circumstances.
So how did he do it? What was the practice?
The primary practice, Marcus, and one he returned to again and again in meditation, is what we now often call cognitive reframe.
Okay.
It's literally the art of looking at a situation from a different angle, not in a way that's dishonest or just positive.
Not just putting a positive spin on.
No, not at all. It's about revealing something deeper, more objective, maybe more empowering. When something upsetting happened, Marcus would often write down his initial thoughts, his gut reaction, and then actively challenge.
How would he challenge?
He'd strip away the drama, the emotional charge. He'd ask himself things like, is this actually as bad as it seems? Am I seeing this clearly? Is my current reaction helping me or hurting?
That's so crucial because our emotions, they're almost always preceded by a thought, right? An interpretation.
Almost always, yeah. You feel anxious because you told yourself something might go wrong. You feel ashamed because you decided you failed. You feel angry because you interpreted someone's words as an
The external event itself is often new just is.
Exactly. It's our interpretation, the meaning we attach, that creates the emotional storm. And once you learn to question that interpretation, to just pause and examine it, you begin to break its spell.
Can you give an example?
Sure. Take the common experience of someone not responding to your message. Your immediate automatic thought might, they're ignoring me. I must have done something wrong.
Yeah, happens all the time. Triggers anxiety, maybe hurt.
Right. But if you catch that thought and you actively challenge it by asking, hang on, do I know for sure this is about me? Could there be another less self-critical explanation? Maybe they're just busy. Or
you create space.
You create vital space between the stimulus, the lack of response, and your emotional reaction. That space, as the Stoics, is where your freedom, your power to choose.
The Stoics called this reason choice. This ability to pause.
Yes, reason choice. It's this ability to pause, to insert that crucial moment of thought before reacting impulsively or emotionally. It's like a mental martial art, really.
Mental martial art, I like that.
Instead of letting your mind hit you with a metaphorical punch of negativity, you learn to dodge, to block, to redirect. Over time, you stop being just a passive victim of your thoughts.
And you start becoming the conscious observer of.
Exactly. And when you can observe your thoughts without immediately identifying with them, thinking, that's me, you gain immense power. You get to decide which thoughts deserve attention and which ones are just noise you can let pass by.
Okay, so how do you practice this? How can you do?
Thought journaling is incredibly serious. Write down a negative thought that's something like, I'm never going to...
Okay.
Then rigorously ask, is this thought 100% true? Oh, what concrete evidence do I have for it? What evidence contradicts it? What's a more balanced, rational way to look at this situation?
And then rewrite it.
Then rewrite the thought into a more grounded, empowering version. Like, okay, I've had setbacks, yes, but I've also made progress here. And success often takes time and consistent effort. I need to stay disciplined.
Doing that daily or whenever you feel overwhelmed, it actually changes your brain.
It literally begins to rewire those default mental habits. Your brain starts to lean towards clarity instead of catastrophe over time. Another powerful technique Marcus used is to regularly strip events down to their bare facts.
Without the emotional coloring?
Precisely. If Marcus got sick, he wouldn't write, oh, I'm suffering terribly, this is awful. He'd aim for something like, the body is experiencing illness. This is part of nature. It will pass or it won't.
That detachment, it gives you mental distance, doesn't it?
It does. Enough distance to respond with reason instead of immediate panic or despair.
And always remembering, thoughts are just mental events.
Exactly. They are not commands you must obey. They are not prophecies that must come true. You don't have to believe everything you think.
You don't have to react to every impulse.
You can observe, pause, question, and choose. That's the Stoic way. Not suppressing your emotions, but shaping them through reason. Not living without struggle, but struggling well with clarity, dignity, and inner strength.
You're not your thought. You're the one who sees them.
That's the core of it. And once you begin choosing which ones to keep, which ones to believe, stop being a prisoner and you truly start free.
That concept of separating ourselves from our thought, it's so vital, especially when we face one of life's most universal and, let's face it, painful truth. Law.
Yeah.
Law. It's not always a loud, dramatic event, is it? Sometimes it's just a quiet, creeping fear that something good will end or that change is coming. We try to protect ourselves, don't we? By clinging, by trying to freeze moments in time.
Trying to outsmart time, which never worked.
Never work. But the source material reminds us of the stark truth. Everything you love will eventually change or disappear or end. And if you build your life on the illusion that it won't,
you're inevitably setting yourself up for heartbreak.
Marcus Aurelius, he seemed to grasp this truth more profoundly than most. He lived every single day with this acute awareness that everything is temporary.
He did. And instead of allowing that to crush him, which it easily could, he allowed it to clarify his life. He famously wrote, "Loss is nothing else but change, and change."
That's such a difficult concept for us to really internalize, isn't it?
Right.
Because we instinctively view loss as a tragedy, a mistake, something that shouldn't happen.
Right. But Marcus offered this rad loss isn't a mistake. It is simply how life is. It's not the exception. It's the fundamental rule of the game.
That truly shifts the whole paradigm. When you begin to see loss as just a natural process, as change, you start to loosen your grip.
Exactly. You stop clinging so desperately to the illusion of permanence. We see it everywhere in nature, don't we? Seasons shift, leaves fall, bodies age, minds evolve.
The entire universe is in constant motion. Nothing stays fixed.
Nothing. And the more you resist that fundamental truth, the more you suffer because you're demanding that life give you fundamental cannot.
But this doesn't mean Stoicism asks you to stop caring or stop loving.
No, quite the opposite, actually. It asks you to love and enjoy with your eyes.
What does that mean with your eyes open?
It means appreciating everything fully, deeply while you have it, knowing that it could be gone tomorrow. That heightened awareness doesn't make life darker. Counterintuitively, it makes it immeasurably richer. It forces you to be truly present, to not take precious moments for granted, to treat every shared laugh, every quiet moment, every embrace like the fleeting gift it actually is, instead of some kind of guarantee.
It's like if you imagine today being the last time you'll ever see a loved one. Not to be morbid, but as a practice.
As a clarifying practice, yeah.
Suddenly your attention sharpens, doesn't it?
Yeah.
You listen more deeply, you probably speak more kindly, you hold them a little tighter.
That's the transformative power of embracing impermanence. It jolts you awake from the everyday complaint. And for actual losses, when a relationship ends or a chapter closes, while grief is natural and absolutely essential, there is a profound hidden truth, Marcus invites. You had something worth losing. That experience, even though it ended, was a gift.
And now, even though it's physically gone, you can carry it forward.
Yes. Not simply as pain, though the pain is real, but as meaning, as growth, as love that maybe changed shape but didn't actually disappear entirely. The Stoic goal here isn't to become cold or emotional.
No.
It's to release that desperate need for life to stay the same, for people to remain fixed in place forever, because your plan was never fully in charge anyway. Life, in its beautiful, sometimes painful way, unfolds on its own.
So practically speaking, how can you listening cultivate this? Start by just noticing your own response to change.
Yes, awareness first. Do you panic when routines shift unexpected? Do you find yourself clinging tightly to people or possessions? Do you actively resist necessary endings? Simply observing these patterns without judgment.
Then consciously remind yourself, nothing is truly mine to keep.
Everything can be taken away. Yet, while you do have it, you can choose to love it deeply, to use it well, and to be fully, utterly present. This paradox, deep love, coupled with non-attachment, that's the heart of it.
It sounds both intensely painful and exquisitely beautiful.
It is, both. A powerful way to internalize this is through a brief find a comfortable spot, few deep breaths.
Okay.
And then silently, everything has changed. Nothing is mine to, but while I have it, I will love it fully. Let the words truly sink.
You might feel sadness.
Absolutely. That's perfectly normal and okay. Just breathe through it. Continue to make space for this reality. You're not trying to get rid of the emotions, but to allow reality to be what it is.
You can also bring to mind something specific that's changing.
Yeah.
Or maybe something you fear losing.
Yes. Imagine holding it gently in your hand, then consciously, gently opening, allowing it to move with the flow of. This is what it truly means to love without that desperate possessive, without attachment in that.
And practicing this often, not just when you face a loss.
Yes, proactively, to prepare your heart, to build that muscle for navigating the inevitable currents of change.
So accepting impermanence, paradoxically, makes you more alive.
Absolutely. You stop sleepwalking through your days. You stop wasting precious time on trivialities. You start showing up fully. And when something inevitably ends, you don't fall apart completely.
You
learn to bow to the passing of time, to the pain, to the mystery of life's transition. And then you stand back up. Not bitter, not broken, but deeper, wiser, and more profoundly human. It offers a way to live with law, feel it fully, without being destroyed by it.
To grieve yes. To let go, yes. And crucially,
Keep walking.
building on that idea of living fully, walking forward,
Yeah.
let's confront one of the most, I think, insidious and pervasive sources of modern pain.
The constant comparison to other people.
Oh, the comparison trap. It's brutal. It's subtle. It's sneaky. And it's everywhere, isn't it? You scroll online, you see someone with a supposedly better life, nicer apartment, more followers, more money, the seemingly perfect relationship. And suddenly, without even realizing it sometimes, you feel like you're falling behind. This habit, as the source warns, it warps your vision and it poisons your peace.
It's absolutely true. It turns your entire life into this never-ending scoreboard where you almost by default feel like you're always losing. And Marcus Aurelius, even 2,000 years ago, was acutely aware of this danger.
Even then, without social media.
Even then, he warned against envy, resentment, and allowing other people's lives, their successes or failures, to disturb your own inner balance. He put it so powerfully. How much more grievous are the consequences of anger and grief than the causes of them?
What's the insight there?
The profound insight is that the actual event, seeing someone else's success, maybe is often less damaging than the destructive mental patterns we fall into after it happens, like comparison, envy, self-criticism.
That's a critical distinction. You see someone else succeed, and instead of feeling inspired or maybe just neutral, you instantly feel inferior.
Right. Instead of focusing on your own growth, your own path, you spiral into self-doubt and self-criticism. At its core, isn't comparison just a form of ego saying,
I need to be better than others to feel good about myself?
Precise. But Stoicism offers this radical counter-narrative. Your worth is not relative. It's not earned by outperforming others. It comes from your character, your intentions, your choices, those internal virtues we talked about.
Marcus never measured his life against other emperors or the size of his empire.
No. He measured it by how well he was living according. Was he being just, disciplined, kind, present? That was enough for him because that's all he could truly control.
The modern challenge, though, is our phones, is every time we unlock them.
We're bombarded. Curated highlight reels, polished versions of other people's lives, and our brains almost unconsciously just compare. That's what brains do.
And slowly, quietly, we start to feel small, inadequate, less than.
It seeps in. So how do we actively escape trap? The first step, as always with Stoicism, is awareness. Catch yourself.
Notice the feeling.
Yeah. When that familiar pang of envy or self-doubt hits after scrolling, pause. Ask yourself, okay, what triggered? Why does this bother me? What false belief is fueling? Is it that thought? If they're doing better than me, I must be failing. Because that, Marcus would say, is simply a lie.
Then you have to actively rewrite that false story.
Yes. Replace it with something true and empowering. Okay, I don't need to match anyone's journey. My path is unique, and I'm growing at my own pace. Their success is not my failure, nor does it diminish my worth. Do this consistently, repeated, rewire those deeply ingrained mental habits.
Okay, what else? Reclaim your attention.
Absolutely. Comparison thrives in distress, especially digital distress. A social media detox, even a short one, isn't just a trend. It can be a profound philosophical reset. Try a full day without it, or maybe block off the first and last hour of your day as comparison.
It's amazing what happens in your mind when you're not constantly comparing. You might feel a bit edgy at first.
Yeah, there's an urge to check.
But underneath that, you discover this remarkable quiet, a clarity. You start to hear your own authentic voice again, which often gets drowned out by the noise of everyone else.
The third step is crucial. Courageously redefine success on your own terms. So much comparison stems from chasing goals that aren't even truly ours.
Goals dictated by society or family or whatever.
Exactly. Ask yourself, what is this thing I'm chasing really? And do I actually genuinely want for me?
Create your own definition of a good life.
Yes, one that aligns deeply with your core values. It doesn't have to be flashy or impressive to anyone else. If it's honest and genuinely fulfilling to you, then it is enough. Full stop.
And finally, gratitude is a discipline.
Yes, every single day, make it a practice. Write down 3 things that are already good. Not things you hope for or things admired by others, but actual present abundance, however small. This simple act powerfully shifts your perceived lack to actual abundance.
So when you're clear on what you value and you actively practice gratitude,
you stop being pulled in 100 different directions by external pressures. You start measuring your life with someone else's ruler. You become deeply rooted in what truly matters.
leading to contentment.
Leading to a profound sense of contentment because you finally stopped running a race you were never actually meant. Marcus's advice here is simple but life-changing. Stop looking sideways so much. You don't need to be ahead. You don't need to be impressive. You just need to be real, grounded, unapologetic.
That deep sense of being you, being grounded, it it brings us to another fundamental human need. Purpose.
Oh, the why.
Yeah. There are times when the pain becomes so loud, or maybe just the apathy is so constant, that you genuinely question the point of it all. You feel hollow, directionless, disconnected, even when your external life looks okay on paper.
That hollowness. Mm-hmm.
You've lost your why. And humans, we seem uniquely wired to need purpose, don't we? We need to feel like our existence means something, not just seek comfort or pleasure.
Absolutely. Marcus Aurelius understood this implicitly. He carried this enormous burden every single day: war, sickness, betrayal, the weight of an entire empire, without giving in to despair or apathy.
How did he do?
He anchored himself deeply in purpose, a purpose not based on achieving personal glory or pleasure, but on unwavering service and absolute integrity.
Service and integrity.
Yeah. He famously wrote, "Do every act of your life as if it were your last." This wasn't meant as like a morbid threat.
No.
It was a profound call to urgency, a searing reminder that each day is a finite chance to live with integrity.
And here's where it gets really transformative, right? Stoicism teaches that meaning isn't something you just passively wait to find, like it's hiding somewhere.
No, you don't find it under a rock.
It's something you actively choose to create through your actions, day by day, moment by moment.
Exactly. For Marcus, life wasn't about chasing fleeting happiness. It was about fulfilling his specific role as a father, a leader, a philosopher. He believed everyone has a duty, not out of some external force, but by rising to a higher standard within themselves, to contribute, to help, to live with courage.
And that's the truly remarkable thing about purpose, isn't it? It doesn't magically make the pain disappear.
Not at all. Pain is still pain.
But it gives the pain direction. When you understand why you're struggling, the struggle itself becomes bearable, maybe even meaningful.
When your suffering is attached to something larger than yourself, something meaningful, it transforms. It becomes a kind of fuel. Marcus didn't wake up excited to lead an empire through devastating wars and plagues.
Probably not.
But he showed up every single because he knew his role mattered. He knew giving up would only make things worse for his duty gave.
So if you're listening and you feel lost, if you're asking yourself, how do I find purpose when nothing seems to matter? Marcus's advice is kind of counterintuitive.
How so?
Start small. Don't wait for some grand revelation or a sudden burst of motivation. Ask yourself, what's one small thing I can do today that makes the world, even just my tiny corner of it, slightly better?
Just one thing. Doesn't have to be huge.
It could be showing up for someone who needs, doing your job with meticulous care, even if no one noticed, keeping a difficult promise, choosing kindness when you feel angry, creating something, cleaning your space.
Meaning is forged in the doing, not in the endless thinking about finding meaning.
Marcus believed every action, no matter how small, mattered. Not because anyone was watching, but because your actions profoundly reflect who you are.
Yeah. He'd ask himself, if today were your last day, proud of how that's a high bar.
It is. A powerful, practical way to internalize this is through daily intention setting. Each morning, just take a few minutes. Deeply ask yourself, what kind of person do I want to be today? What values do I want to embody? What do I want to contribute or give?
Focusing on the how you want to show up, not just the what you need to tick off a list.
Exactly. Like, I will face discomfort with courage, or I will treat others with patience and understanding, even when it's difficult. Write these down. This small daily ritual creates a profound anchor.
So when pain or boredom inevitably shows up, and they will, you have something concrete to hold on to, a reminder that this moment still matters, that you still have a powerful choice in how you respond.
And the beauty of Stoic purpose is that it doesn't require external success or some perfect setting, right?
Not at all. In fact, sometimes the darker things get, the more important your purpose becomes, because it's precisely what keeps you from giving up altogether. It's what transforms suffering into strength.
Even mundane acts become meaningful.
Absolutely. Even seemingly mundane, everyday acts like washing the dishes with care when you feel overwhelmed, or simply getting out of bed when depression is pulling you down, become profound acts of discipline and courage when imbued with that intention, with purpose.
The Stoics didn't believe in running from pain or avoiding life's burdens.
No, they believed in walking through them. Head held high, heart open, values intact. Duty and service, in this context, aren't burdens. They are, in fact, the clearest path to resilience.
So if you feel adrift, if you feel lost, Marcus Aurelius would tell you, don't wait for clarity to magically strike. Start acting with purpose right now.
Even if you don't feel it yet, do something small and meaningful today. Your pain is still there, yes, but so is your dignity. Your sorrow still exists, but now it has weight. It has meaning. You're living on purpose. And that, as Marcus shows us, is how you truly turn despair into strength, one conscious action at a time.
And that profound sense of purpose, of living intentionally, it leads us directly to the final, maybe the most challenging, but ultimately the most liberating Stoic teacher, remembering mortality, memento mori.
The big one. Remember, you must die.
This is the terrifying, undeniable truth we all live with, isn't it? Whether we consciously admit it or not, we are going to die. Every single person we know and love will die. Everything we cherish will eventually end.
And most people spend their entire lives trying to ignore this reality through endless distraction, avoidance.
Pushing it away. But the Stoics, they didn't run from death. They consciously turned towards it. They used it not as a source of paralyzing fear, but as a profound source of freedom.
Freedom. How is remembering death free?
Marcus Aurelius penned one of the most powerful reminders. You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do, say, and think.
Wow, that hits hard.
It does. But it wasn't meant to depress you. It was meant as a potent philosophical wake-up call.
And what a wake-up call it is when you truly remember that your time here is limited, finite. You stop wasting.
You stop pretending you have forever.
You stop putting off what truly matters deep down. You stop saying someday, and you start living now.
Modern life seems designed to keep us from thinking about death.
Absolutely. We sanitize it, hide it away. But the Stoics believed it's actually the greatest teacher we have. It offers unparalleled clarity, deep courage, and a profound sense of gratitude for the time we do have.
Consider how much of our current unhappiness, our procrastination, our fear comes from simply taking life for granted. If you truly, deeply remembered that life could be gone tomorrow, would you still waste hours endlessly scrolling meaningless feeds? Would you still avoid those difficult but necessary conversations? Would you hold on to petty grudges? Would you live in perpetual fear or play it safe when your heart yearns for something more?
Probably not, because death, in its stark honesty, it just cuts through the trivial. It reminds you what actually matters and what, in the grand scheme, truly doesn't.
And this is the profound paradox of memento mori, isn't it? When you truly remember death, you don't become morbid or depressed.
You become more alive.
Paradoxically, yeah.
You love deeper, you listen more closely, you speak more honestly, stop sleepwalking.
You find the courage to take those risks, to say, I love you, to offer forgiveness, to simply show up authentically because you realize there's no guarantee you'll ever get another chance.
So how do you practically integrate this powerful concept into daily life?
Start with a simple, honest exercise. Picture your own death. Just imagine your last exhale. What do you see? What remains?
You won't be able to bring anything. Not your money, not your followers, not your ego.
Nothing external. All that will be left is how you lived, the choices you made, the people you touched, the kind of person you ultimately chose to be.
And with that sobering yet clarifying image in mind, ask yourself, if today were my last day, what would I deeply regret not? What words am I still holding back? What risks am I avoiding out of fear? What dreams am I postponing indefinitely? What kind of person do I wish I had the courage to become, starting right now? These aren't just abstract philosophical questions. They're the most powerful compass for guiding your life in this very moment.
You could try a quiet memento mori reflection.
Sit comfortably, close your eyes, take a breath, then gently bring your attention to a single thought. Say it to yourself a few times to scare you, but to allow this simple settle.
Then shift focus to today.
Then shift your focus to today. If this were truly your last day alive, how would you want to show up? How would you want to live this precious, finite gift of time? Let yourself really feel that. Sit with the profound weight of your own mortality until it softens, until it brings you fully great into the present moment.
You could also use a daily journaling prompt. If today were my last day, how would I live it?
Yeah. And don't just write down your schedule. Write who you want to be today, how you want to around you, what fear you want to consciously let go of, what truth you want to bravely. This practice doesn't make you anxious. It makes profoundly vibrant.
And maybe keep a simple physical reminder nearby. A ring. A small skull in your desk, a printed Marcus quote.
Exactly. Not to be dark or morbid, but to stay rooted in this liberating reality.
So the transformative result of truly accepting death is that you stop living a half-life.
Yes. You stop waiting for some perfect, distant future to finally be happy or brave or authentic. You realize that now, this very moment, exactly as it is, messy and imperfect, is your life.
And one day, it will end.
And one day it will end. This insight isn't meant to make you sad. It's meant to make you incredibly, deeply grateful because you still have time. You're still breathing. You still have a chance. Use it.
So there you have it. Stoicism, as illuminated through the personal struggles and the profound wisdom of Marcus Aurelius, it offers far more than just ancient philosophy, doesn't it?
So much more. It provides these profoundly practical tools and a timeless mindset to navigate life's inevitable challenges.
It's not about avoiding struggle because you can't.
You absolutely can't.
But it's about equipping you to engage with it and ultimately triumph over it, in a sense, with unwavering strength, radical clarity and, well, profound dignity.
It's this enduring invitation, really, an invitation to stop frantically seeking external validation and that futile sense of control over the uncontrolled.
And
Instead, Stoicism calls you to cultivate your inner world, to master your responses, clarify your values, and consciously choose your purpose.
Okay, so as we conclude this deep dive, here's maybe a final thought for you to carry with you. You are going to die. That is the one absolute certainty. But right now, in this moment, you are still gloriously, vibrantly alive. And that in itself is the most extraordinary gift. Use it well.
Let that thought shape your next conversation. Let it guide your next choice. Let it be that gentle, insistent reminder to stop waiting, stop putting things off.
Because this isn't a dress rehearsal for some future life, is it? This right here, right now, this is it.
And if you will find